Sarah Longwell, what a pleasure to meet you in person. Congrats on all your success.
Appreciate it.
You talk to people as much as anybody in politics through focus groups. Describe the mood of the country right now.
The country is not in a good mood, especially Democrats and independents, and some Trump voters who voted for Trump specifically because they wanted him to lower prices. They wanted their grocery prices to go down. They wanted to have better housing opportunities. They wanted him to do something positive for the economy. And so all the economic distress has people really freaked out. And obviously Democrats don't like all the extra legal activity, the fact that Donald Trump is out there deporting people accidentally, the fact that he is banning trans people from the military. I mean, Democrats are going to have their particular political issues. But to me, what's always interesting is listening to independents and even Trump voters who are just so hyper-focused on the idea that Donald Trump's a businessman, he's going to fix the economy, and to have him not doing that has them very frustrated.
Do you see them sort of straying from him, or do you see them still wanting to give him some time?
So this is the thing. It depends. There are definitely voters, especially the Trump voters, who sort of feel like, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I feel like it's still early days, so let's see. But they're very worried about the tariffs. I mean, the thing is, Donald Trump has not sold tariffs to his voters. There are people who will defend them, but there are a lot of voters who hear Trump saying, look, there's going to be a little bit of pain. And those voters will say to me, I don't have room for a little bit of pain. Like when you pay $10 more to get your oil changed, I feel that. And so, it varies in terms of people's leeway that they're going to give him.
You're talking on a panel about sort of where Democrats go from here. Where do you think they go from here?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Democrats, the good news for Democrats is that Donald Trump appears to be torpedoing his presidency pretty quickly with voters. The bad news is they are not more popular than him. The frustration,
or less, right? In some
no. I mean, they're not more popular than him. They're less popular
right.
than him. And so you don't hear voters saying, boy, I'm really upset about how Trump is handling things. I'm going to go vote for the first Democrat I see. They express a lot of dissatisfaction across the board. And so I think Democrats have to figure out not just how to be against Trump, but also who are they? What are they for? And the thing I hear from voters all the time, especially Democratic voters, is it's not a fight over whether Democrats become more moderate or more progressive. They want Democrats to be more aggressive. They want to see Democrats standing up to Donald Trump in this moment, pushing back, fighting. And it's not really related to policy. It's about posture and attitude, which is why you see people like Bernie Sanders and AOC, even though people may not be full on with them on their political positions, really being glad that they're out there doing something. I mean, when Cory Booker stood up and did his 25-hour,
right.
People really were happy about that. Even though they know it makes no material difference on policy, they're just glad to see somebody doing something.
It seemed like that was something that Gavin Newsom thought of in 2022 when he thought that Joe Biden may not be running. But then this year has kind of struggled with that a little bit with the podcast or where we go or being seen as a fighter. What do you make of him? What does the rest of the country make of him?
I mean, I'm just watching him squander whatever political capital he had with voters. Him, having Charlie Kirk on as his first guest on his podcast, he came out today and basically said, yes, I'm with you, Donald Trump, about your tariffs on the film industry. And I think that is just the exact opposite of what Democratic voters are looking for. I think you're seeing some of this from Gretchen Whitmer, too. You see Democrats because they feel like, man, whatever we were doing before didn't work, so I'm going to try this different tack. But they are cozying up to Donald Trump or sort of alibying him at a time when that is the opposite of what their voters want. The reason Democrats are so wildly unpopular right now and they have, approval ratings down in the 20s isn't because everybody's decided Democrats are terrible or that they think they're bad on all the policies. It's because they believe they're not fighting hard enough right now, and Gavin Newsom is the poster boy for that.
What do you think is the secret sauce going forward of what the sort of independent, not super partisan person is looking for?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's becoming a cliche word, but authenticity and strength are the thing that voters talk about. They want to see somebody who's going to stand up for them, stand up for their values, kind of go hard, be able to articulate in a clear way what that person stands for. And people are frustrated that Donald Trump is such a liar, and yet he's been able to win voters over by being consistent about what he thinks, not in all cases, but sort of always being himself, always telling people what he thinks. And I think Democrats are really saying, why don't we have somebody on our side who can be that authentic, who can reach people, who people feel like they have a relationship with. I mean, one of the problems for Joe Biden was people got so used to Donald Trump setting the tone of the conversation, talking to them all the time, tweeting. And then Joe Biden was just somebody that they didn't see or hear from. And they want somebody that they can see and hear from. They want somebody who's out there and that they feel like standing up to Trump in some ways is standing up for them. And that's what they want.
Which is why that tagline was so brilliant, with Trump saying, she's for they, them, Donald Trump is for you.
That's right.
Right, as a smart political tactic. And lastly, we're at this conference which has a lot of really smart, interesting people, but a lot of wealthy people that are frankly not that connected to the average person.
It's $500 if you lose your badge. Do you know that? Sorry.
So what do you think the people here could learn from the people that you talk to every day, the sort of regular American?
Yeah, I mean, look, the disconnect between the kinds of people who occupy these rooms and the average person, that gulf just gets wider all the time, because these people all talk to each other. They go to conferences like this. They reinforce a kind of conventional wisdom. And look, that's what I did. I was in that world all the time. And then I started doing focus groups back when I was trying to understand what was happening to the Republican Party with Donald Trump. And that's when I realized that Trump was actually onto something with voters. They want somebody who speaks plainly, who's going to try to make their lives better, who they feel like is going to go fight for them, who cares about America. And I think until Democrats figure out how to have leaders that aren't just regular politicians, and I think that's it, right? This room will look at a conventional politician and think, boy, that guy seems really good. They know how to talk about business. That's not what voters want. Voters want somebody who doesn't feel like a regular politician and feels like somebody that they could relate to and that's going to go to bat for them.
Sarah Longwell, thank you so much. And
Thanks
where can we check out your podcast and all your work?
Come to the Bulwark, watch the focus group. You can find the Bulwark on YouTube. You can find it on anywhere on the internet. Go find it.
All right. Thank you so much. Nice to see you.